My uncle, who lives in the Netherlands, says that the government provides basically everything for free. I mean, he did walk down the street and he did see a poster. He walked down the street the other day and he literally saw a poster which said Free Palestine. But in the struggle for a Palestinian state, many Europeans, either knowingly or unknowingly, are crossing the blurry line between legitimately criticizing the mistakes of the Israeli state when it comes to dealing with Hamas and anti-Semitism. Deutsche Welle articulates on July 11th of this year that anti-Semitism has had a very long history in Europe, beginning in the 4th or 5th century BCE, when the Romans put down the Jewish revolt and exiled the Jews from their homeland, sending them across Europe, Asia, and Africa. In this level of anti-Semitism slowly built up over time. Jews could only work certain professions like banking, which led to conspiracies about them secretly controlling finances. And all this eventually culminated in the Holocaust, in which the Nazis were able to use the uneducated nature of the population about Jewish issues to scapegoat them and use them as a justification to get to power. So, as the conflict in Israel and Palestine continues to go on seemingly without end, it is very important that we ask today's question. Is anti-Semitism on the rise in Western Europe? And the answer to this question is unfortunately yes. There are three main points I want to go over in this speech. Firstly, anti-Semitic incidents and the amount of population believing that they're at least somewhat justified is increasing. Secondly, the Europeans are surprisingly uneducated about the Holocaust. Not to American levels, of course, but they are getting dangerously close. And lastly, it's important to clarify that recognizing a Palestinian state is not anti-Semitism. With the recent threats to the ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, I guess you could say the situation is really getting out of hand. And it seems that anti-Semitic incidents in Europe are getting out of hand as well. The BFV, or Office for the Protection of the Constitution, which is a department of the German police dedicated to countering extremism on both the far left and the far right and from Islamic terror, conducted a poll with various European police organizations on October 7th of this year, about 2 years since the October 7th attack on Israel, which killed almost 3,000 people. They found that anti-Semitic incidents increased almost to 30%, and from around to about 1,000 anti-Semitic incidents that year so far. And it seemed that the amount of people believing that they were at least somewhat justified was increasing as well. A poll conducted by the Vienna Times found that around 1/5 of Austrians believed that Jews somewhat used the Holocaust to further their own interests, and believed that around 5% of them believed that some degree of anti-Semitism was justified, considering the amount of war crimes being committed in the Gaza Strip. With the amount of anti-Semitic attacks increasing and the amount of the population believing that they're at least somewhat justified increasing as well, it seems that this is one of the main reasons why I believe that anti-Semitism is on the rise in Western Europe. One of the main reasons why anti-Semitism seems to be on the rise is the lack of coverage on the Holocaust. This brings me to this in European curriculums. This brings me to the second reason why I believe that anti-Semitism is on the rise in Western Europe. Europeans are surprisingly uneducated about the Holocaust. Why are schizophrenic foreigners always confused about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? They can't tell what Israel is and what isn't. And it seems that many Europeans are slowly becoming the same way. According to a different article by Deutsche Welle written on October 10th of this year, nearly 1/3 of Germans believed that commemorating the Holocaust was quote unquote distracting from current affairs. And according to the AfD, or Alternative for Deutschland's official website, Germany must move on from the Holocaust while acknowledging it. One of them, the AfD is one of the main players on the German far right, and they believe that moving on from the Holocaust and asserting Germany in quote unquote increasing German patriotism is a major part of their platform. With the lack of comprehensive coverage on the Holocaust, it seems that European countries are not adequately educating their populace on the Holocaust. This has unfortunately led to the anti-Semitic incidents, partially led to the anti-Semitic incidents that I've covered previously. However, with the rise of anti-Semitism in Western Europe, I believe that it's crucial to clarify that the recognition of a Palestinian state is not anti-Semitism. This brings me to the third and final way in which I believe anti-Semitism is on the rise in Western Europe. Recognizing Palestine does not count as anti-Semitism. Why is money the root of all evil? I mean, there's literally a bank separating Israel and Palestine. But as European countries continue to recognize Palestine, it is very important to clarify that it does not factor into the rise of anti-Semitism in Western Europe. A poll by Haaretz, a major liberal news agency in Israel, found that almost 89% of Israelis believe that the recognition of Palestine was at least somewhat anti-Semitic. However, I believe that it's crucial to dismiss these claims. France 24 articulates in another article written on October 27th of this year, which was the day after France recognized the Palestinian state, stated that French trade with Israel has never been higher, reaching the billions of dollars, and the countries enjoyed good relations with each other. In fact, recognizing a Palestinian state can actually bring down anti-Semitism. Ireland recognized Palestine on October 28th of 2024, and the Irish Independent articulates on October 27th of this year, which was a year after Ireland recognized Palestine, that anti-Semitic incidents were actually down in the country from about 150 in 2023 to around 100 in 2024. To conclude, while the Netherlands cannot single-handedly restore peace between the two countries or get a free Palestine, they can work towards reducing anti-Semitism in their country. Firstly, European attacks on Jewish people and the amount of population believing that they were justified is significantly increasing. Secondly, European countries are not educating their populace on the Holocaust. And lastly, I believe it's crucial to clarify that recognizing a Palestinian state is not anti-Semitic. Thank you.